Hey there, guys. I have this document here, which has all the things I want to talk about today. This reflects on a whole lot of things, so I hope you're ready for this.
Something tells me none of it will be relevant to what's been brought up by almost every single one of his exes at this point.
Because I think it's going to be a fun ride. I think it's going to be interesting, you know, for everyone. First off, the boring stuff. My goals. I would like to make awesome videos. Go figure. But sadly, this might actually surprise some people. Because, you know, I for a long time wasn't making awesome videos. I was making absolute videos.
No shit, Sherlock!
Like videos that obviously I didn't put a lot of work into, which is hard for me to admit. Obviously I didn't care that much about, nor would ever watch more than once if I had a choice. I just lost the integrity of my work and I just let it go.
What you said would imply that you had integrity to begin with. Your videos were shit because you kept regurgitating the same theme for your videos over and over again. Obsessive about sex as well as violence. Being very distasteful with your content, as well as involving personal matters that honestly should have been private.
And the reason for that was because I felt like I needed to produce quantity and not quality. So yeah, I have a huge goal of making something that looks a lot more like, I don't know, this.
Oh, hey Onision. Wait, I can see you in the same scene with me. How is that possible? Oh, please don't do this. You made me kill my family.
I'll kill someone else then.
I am Mr. Donovan. I am. Tonight on the news, 3 prostitutes are thrown to death off a bridge. Next, Katie Curry talking to everybody about her another scandal, another scandal. Another scandal with an old woman.
So you're basically going to post the same content over and over again. Okay. I would go out of my way to say listen to your critics, but we all know what happens when, you know, you tried to do that. Somehow it causes you immense pain. You're forced into the fetal position and you're sucking your thumb for almost hours for what the quote-unquote bad people say about you. Because let me tell you, something like that was not quality content to me.
So, some of you might know, I have a lot of problems. Just
No shit, Sherlock!
in my personal life. Like, I've had friendships fall apart, I've had relationships fall apart, I've had so many things fall apart that normal people have, but I, for some reason, thought was a good idea to talk about with people.
Okay, no. Don't pull this whole, oh, I talked about it with people. Shaming people on the internet because they have a different opinion than you, that they didn't do something that you wanted. That's not talking. That's you trying to defame the person's name and their identity because you didn't get your way.
Like, there was this guy I used to work with a lot, and, you know, maybe I was in love with him, I don't know. A lot of things have come out about me, about my preferences in people, and my true feelings about guys I've hung out with. I don't know what's up there, but what I do know is that he is a great comedian, a hilarious actor. I think I mixed up the order of those, but he's awesome, right? Unfortunately, during the 2016 election, I let my political views... Oh boy, you guys mind if I eat while I talk to you? Kai made this. It's rude not to eat it right away. No, like, my friend was great. And because there was an election, and because I don't have a lot of self-control as far as my opinion differences, I decided to just unleash on the guy.
Yes, that didn't work out so well for you, did it?
And then he did things which I don't want to talk about, and I decided that it was time to end our friendship. And, you know, I've done that before. I have a problem with dumping people and breaking up friendships and so forth. I've done it constantly because I just don't want to feel a certain way. And when people make me feel a certain way, I just can't be associated with them anymore. And that hurts them, and that makes everything worse. And that is a problem that I need to fix, is not just cutting people off, like, the moment they upset me or something like that, because that is not functional and that is not healthy. What normal people do is they just, like, you know, take a break for a while. You know, they say, okay, I'm not going to talk to this person for a little bit. I'm not gonna make an announcement about it or a video about it, but for me, what I would do is I'd be like, I'd have a problem with somebody, and then I'd be like, oh, I should go make a video about this and let everybody know.
You didn't just make videos on people. You went out of your way to slander them. to ridicule them, to try to get them off the internet, to utterly shame them because, oh my god, they suffered or committed the ultimate crime of offending Onision, the usurper king. In fact, probably the best example of you, Onision, would have to be that Stewart from Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. For those who don't remember, you have that one guy who was watching the throne till the real king showed up, and he was kind of a douche to the point where he was kind of a douche to his kids, almost getting both of them killed, and got his way a lot. And if you went against him, he tried to kill you, or kill the main characters. And what happened to that guy when he was defeated? Oh yeah, that's right. He accidentally lit himself on fire after trying to kill his son, who he presumed dead, and then proceeds to jump off one of the highest points of Gondor. I guess the basic lesson with this whole analogy, or this example, is that, well, karma. And we all know the old saying of karma. All I'm saying here, though, is that Onision has caused a lot of trouble. And sure enough, it's going to bite him in the ass. I mean, right now, it already is. With all of his exes coming out and giving their stories about what he's done.
My personal problems, and I just want to say, me doing that was inappropriate. Like, me going public because I have a private problem with somebody is exactly what I don't like being done to me, yet I would do it to others. And I have a lot of growing up to do as a person because of that. But the reason I mention this friend is my videos have not been able to be fun in the way they were because I let the 2016 election get in the way of my business.
Please tell me, for the love of God, he's not going to say that this whole 2016 election thing was the cause of him being a shitty person. Because really, that is so fucking sad if that's what he thinks. Let me tell it to you straight. Your content is shit because you're a shitty person. You can't accept change, and you can't accept the fact that other people are giving you criticism to help you improve your content. You can't handle people for what they say, and you keep regurgitating the same crap over and over and over and over again, to the point where it's laughable. It really is. And it's come to be expected with Onision and his shitty behavior. Onision uploaded a video. Oh, guess he's gonna prove himself to be a shit person once again. Oh look, there's another video. And another video. And another video. Oh, and guess what? He's not changing at all. At this point, it's like, whoop-de-fucking-do. You upload content, you talk shit, and then you get mad when people call you out.
My actual, like, on-camera chemistry with people. And I have a permanently destroyed friendship and business relationship because I couldn't be the bigger person, I couldn't be the adult, I couldn't be the grown-up in the situation. And that is my fault, and blaming it on anyone else is quite frankly not going to solve the problem. I'm just gonna go on blaming people my whole life if I don't take responsibility somewhere. And when you take responsibility, you might actually have a good chance of growing and not repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Anyway, I just wanted to share a few clips from that person and I just being great together. And maybe you'll see why I'm so sad that I can't work with them anymore because, we made such funny stuff.
I'm gonna say, watching some of Sear's stuff, yeah, it's kind of funny. Your shit, however, isn't. So, we're gonna go ahead and skip that part and move on to you explaining yourself more.
Alright, so something else I think it's important for you to know is somewhere along the way, from making I'm a Banana, which was an amazing music video,
So, I'm going to go ahead and say it as it is. I know I'm going to sound like a hater, but it's my channel. I can do what I want. I don't think you realize that I'm a Banana isn't as great as you think it is. I know. Shocker. I think the only reason that whole music video became popular because you have a jackass in a banana suit singing a really crappy song, dancing around like a fucking idiot. That is the only reason that fucking thing became popular.
Oh, okay, it wasn't that great. I'm a Banana, in my opinion, wasn't as good as Hula Hoop Song. It wasn't as good as I'm So Emo. It wasn't as good as a lot of things, but for some reason it has over 70 million views. And, you know, whatever. I guess that's what happens when you connect with the Tosh.0 audience and the ridiculousness audience and the other TV shows it was featured on. Actually, sorry, it was Ladybug that was featured on ridiculousness.
But I'm stupid. That's not who I am. I'm a ladybug.
Anyway, so eventually, I started getting really heavy into drama instead of making content worth watching. I would date a girl, and then I'd make a video about her, and then I'd date someone else, and then I'd probably talk about it passively at some point. I was basically Taylor Swift, except I didn't make good music. Most of the time. I think we can all admit that Black Ink isn't that bad.
You serious?
Anyway, eventually I got into drama. So hard into drama because drama sold. You know, people were supportive of me getting into drama, and I didn't care who I was making drama about, so long as it got me video views, so long as it got me attention, so long as it fueled my ego, so long as it made me feel better than people, so long as it was just a horrible toxic mess. Just doing anything publicly to try and hurt somebody, no, that was a huge mistake on my part. And it was a huge mistake because no matter how successful I got, no matter how good I felt about my morals or whatever by comparing myself to people I thought were lesser, I still wasn't truly happy. I still wasn't doing the work I was proud of. I was still just toxic.
If you were to ask me, I would say that you being toxic is an understatement to what was going on.
But fortunately, I've been able to abandon my hater-type content, and so now I'll show you the before and after of a show that I used to run.
How about no? Skip.
Yeah, that's right. I fired Rod Danger. I sold her costume on poshmark.com/closet/Onision shirts. What a dumb URL. I sold it, and for $7. So Rod Danger is gone forever. I have another wig. Rod Danger could appear in the future. She's died so many times. Anyway, another thing that I just really don't like about being me is that whenever I'd make a drama video in the past, I would only talk about like the things that made people feel like they're terrible. You know, you never really give a full perspective of people. You never are really honest. And for a guy who's like, I'm one of the most honest YouTubers, shouldn't I include the full story and not just the bad stuff? Like, yeah, so-and-so may have had a problem with so-and-so, but they also did all these really awesome things throughout their career or throughout their friendship or whatever. None of us are entirely defined by what people think. Obviously, that's a stupid statement.
Onision, your quote-unquote drama videos were, again, used in a way to try to slander and defame people, especially people who have talked against you, where you lie and give misinformation. You shame people over the internet for their lifestyle, what they're going through. So, all in all, you know, mentioning, the positives about them isn't going to help in your situation. You've done a lot of heinous shit towards people. And unfortunately, you haven't really apologized to any of those people.
Where was I? Oh, right. Not being honest. When you're honest, you will see human beings as human beings. Just like you, just like me, just like everybody. Like, I met this one YouTuber, and I knew almost nothing about him. We had a somewhat fine time. There were some things I was not cool about, but I'm not going to discuss them because that's nobody's business, and I don't want to, try to hurt him more than he's already been hurt. But there was this guy, and there were good things about him. And I would say, he's talented or something at some point, but I wouldn't really actually, express the full spectrum of our interactions. It was most entirely focused on negative. And let me ask you guys something. When you only focus on the negative in others, how do you think your life is impacted? Do you think your life gets better or worse. Because me personally, I wager that your life, the more you consume it with the negative, the things that weigh you down, like putting water inside your boat, the more you will sink. Regardless of whether or not you think you're right or wrong, you will be weighed down by the negativity that you introduce to your own existence.
So, I'm going to say right off the bat that, yes, almost everybody should be treated like human beings. But I feel like with this whole statement that it's a kind of a jab at people who have criticized him. Now, again, people might interpret it differently, but this is just what I'm saying. Look, I'm just going to say this, is that everybody should be treated as human beings. But if you do something wrong, if, let's say you're doing a job and you're doing something that you're not supposed to or isn't as the way it's been taught to you, and people give you criticism, then usually your best choice of action is to accept the criticism that you're being given and learn from the mistakes that you make. Now, Onision, you've made a ton of mistakes, and people have brought up those said mistakes, but you yourself have never actually given any thought to grow, to learn. You are the same person then as you are now, because you can't learn, because you can't listen to what other people have to say.
Kind of like if I think about My Little Pony all day, I'm probably gonna start talking like this all the time. Wow! As far as my internal dialogue goes. And God, if we all had My Little Pony in our heads, we would all be a little bit better people. But additionally, online drama isn't real. I don't know if you guys didn't know this, but online beef is not an actual thing. I'll give you an example. There was this guy, and I'm not gonna drop names, but he was like this online.
Hey guys, I'm Hobo Steve, and I just want to say what a it vegans are. Hey Onision, I took your instrumental and put new lyrics to it. Isn't that awesome? Man, I'm a meat eater. I'm a meat eater. Onision, yo.
And then meeting him in person, he was more like this scenario I prepared for you. Isn't this great?
Oh hey Onision, fancy seeing you here. I love your content.
Oh hey, thanks.
Oh yeah, I'm the guy who made that video where I called you a and then I all over your diet. Anyway, bro, we should like hang out and be friends, you know? Wouldn't that be cool, man? Hey, bro, is that your missile? Is that your missile, bro?
So, a couple things I have issue with. One is, I feel like that this whole scenario, the fake hater came by and friggin' said he liked his content, is fake. Okay? That goes for a lot of the scenarios that he talks about when it comes to his father, as well as other situations that he addresses on his channel. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if him saying, oh, I have been with like 50 women. Pretty sure that's fake too. And that actually brings up the whole thing about him giving quote unquote dating advice, even though all of his relationships have failed. But all in all, this is just insane. Not every individual is going to kiss his ass in public. More likely, if I ever saw him, I'd probably tell him to go fuck off. I'm not going to interact with him. And it brings up actually an interesting question. I had somebody comment on one of my videos asking me, would I ever debate Onision? And my basic answer was, I wouldn't interact with a man-child who acts the way that he does. And that's basically what Onision is. A big man-child who can't handle what people have to say. And makes up scenarios like the one that you just listened to make it seem like everybody who has talked about him is fake.
Additionally, online, there's pretty much no accountability for what people accuse people of or what people say. I myself have accused people of things and I never got sued. I never got in trouble or anything like that. But additionally, I also, said what I genuinely felt and genuinely believed, which helps me a lot. But at the same time, it was what I genuinely felt and genuinely believed in the most negative way possible, which, that starts to be a little bit more unrealistic. When you are unwilling to see the good things in people that you don't like, you are not in the real world. You are in this negative, nightmarish existence.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Onision, if you, for some reason, think that you ever did anything good, then you're lying to yourself. Look, there are times where, yes, you do have to look at some of the good stuff about an individual, but if they're a shit individual to others and continuously show the same behavior over and over again, then that is something that you have to expect from them. And unfortunately, you've proven that to us time and time again.
And I wish that I got out of that state a lot earlier because I was a toxic mess online. And you know what? Let's be real. I'm still quite a bit toxic. I still have a lot of things to work out. I'm not cured. I'm not necessarily so much better. I feel like I've been here before. I've been to this place of self-realization.
Hey, quick interruption. How much you guys want to bet that he's going to go back to the same behavior, especially with all the stuff that's been going on with his exes calling him out on Twitter? With all their DMs, bringing up all the things that he's has done to them, mentally, what they had to go through, etc.
And I feel like I still have this problem. There's things that you need to do in your personal life to take care of these issues and not just say, I'm better, when you're probably not. It's a lifelong struggle dealing with so many things that are wrong with all of our psyches. But no, there are many examples of people using words that don't apply to people to demonize them. There are so many examples of people jumping to conclusions that are irrational just for the sake of making that person seem worse than they really are. A classic example is me calling meat eaters murderers for so long. I would literally go on these huge rants calling them murderers, really having no concept of what murder is.
My basic issue especially when it comes to the whole debate when it comes to which diet is better, I usually consider, whatever best suits your needs. I mean, at some point I may start back up on my pescatarian diet where I'm eating only fish products or just fish with more vegetation. But all in all, I never understood, especially with a lot of vegans, some people, like Vegan Gains, unfortunately, falls under this category where they will trump everybody who consumes meat to the exact people that are in the plants or in the factories, at the farms, that butcher the animals, that cut them up, and deliver them to various stores. I don't think that's right, that you should trump people for what certain individuals do to the animals. And I don't think you should shame people for what their lifestyle is either. Especially when, at this point, I would assume that it is literally impossible for a forced change in somebody's diet. Now, let's say if a meat diet is working for you, then you know what, good for you. If a vegan diet is working for you, then you know what, good for you. Whatever works. Whatever you feel comfortable with doing. But all in all, we shouldn't be shaming each other for that. That has been and will always be my thoughts on when it comes to that particular topic. And I can't believe I just went off the rails to discuss diets. Holy shit.
If you look up what murder actually means, it doesn't even include anyone but human beings. So you can't murder anyone but human beings. Yet I'm out there going murder, murder, murder because I was ignorant. I was unhealthy mentally, more so than I've probably ever been. And I have a number of things I could talk to you guys about, like saying, oh, it was because of this, or this. But really saying it's the responsibility or the fault of someone else does not empower me. It simply reduces my willingness to take responsibility, and it strips me of my power. But no, like, something happened to me some time ago, and I've prepared the following bit for you to demonstrate what I myself have gone through. Hi.
Hello, sir. I'm here to investigate you potentially trafficking human beings. I'm a member of the FBI.
What?
May I come inside, sir?
That's what your mother said last night.
Did saying that make you feel good? You think that's funny?
No, not really.
My mother's dead. Died 10 years ago. You laughing?
I'm sorry.
She was a good woman.
I'm sure she was.
Shut your mouth. I'm gonna look around.
So, no human trafficking then, huh? I mean, technically I murdered someone on that bed, but they're not a real person, they're a character.
Yeah. You know, the human trafficking rumor people are spreading online. It might not be true, but you're still a for what you said earlier.
Sorry.
You need to watch your mouth when you talk to people. That's how you make enemies.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
I'm agender, asshole.
My brain hurts!
Now, this next point is really important because it may teach a lot of us a huge lesson in just dealing with the internet in general. I see people in my Twitter feed arguing with other people, trying to convince them that they're wrong about me. And I see other people trying to convince people that are supportive of me that they're wrong to support me. These things are both a waste of time. And the reason they're a waste of time is because more often than not, people have made up their minds before you even confront them. And I'm not talking about total strangers, because total strangers, they're fickle. They can be swayed one way or the other. They don't really know you personally. They don't have any money on the table. But I personally know of no friends that I have lost, personally. Like, I don't have very many friends. I have like 7 friends or something.
Just so we're clear, Onision, your characters don't count.
Oh shit! Burn! Burn!
But I know of none of those 7 friends that I have personally that I have chosen to keep in my life and that I have considered a constant positive impact in my life, which is why they stay in my life. I have lost 0 of them. They have all continued to interact with me and understand me and listen to me and be nice. And then you have people who are the opposite of my friends, who of course are not going to be nice, they're not going to be understanding, they're not going to listen. And that's because they've made up their minds, just like my friends have made up their minds, just like my family has made up their minds. These people all have money on the table, they all have their own investments, and they all have their reasons to believe what they do.
Onision, at this point, it's not just about believing. It's the evidence that has been presented to us for the past 11 years of you being on YouTube. What kind of person you are. How many people you've hurt. What lengths will you go to prove yourself to be right. When you decide to backpedal because you're getting a lot of heat for something that you did. Shaming people for, just giving their courtesies as well as, being respectful to people that lose their loved ones. Being disrespectful and shameful towards people who are suffering from any mental illness or eating disorders. Trying to ruin somebody's career because they stood you up and forgot about you, and you use false pedophile allegations towards them. You've collected photos of young teenagers and used them for fake body positivity videos. There's a lot about you that honestly has been cataloged, and people see you for what you are. Especially now, more than ever, and I think this is the only reason why you're making this particular video. You're making this video because many of your exes, so far, Sarah, Sky, Shiloh, have come up and are bringing up what you did to them. I think that's the only reason you're making this video. If you didn't have them speaking out, then you probably would be continuing the same behavior without any question. But right now, you have them discussing this whole situation, so you're trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm a nice guy. Oh, I've learned my lesson. When in reality, probably in the next 3 days, you'll change back or revert back to the way you are. A scumbag piece of shit who doesn't care about people's feelings and only cares about what he believes in, which honestly is little to say the least, because you keep going back and forth.
Like, I myself used to rage at people. I used to demonize and be so aggressive to people because I personally just wanted to feel the way I felt and I wanted to believe what I did. And I myself was a part of tribalism and popularity contests and all this stuff that people regularly take part in society so they don't feel isolated and instead feel included and thus stronger. Most everybody wants to vote for the winning team. And as part of evolution or some concept, I'm not that much of an intellectual, so this is where it gets a little bit fuzzy. But we all want to help our own move forward. And so when we see an opportunity to jump on a bandwagon or to be part of a tribe or some group that makes us feel bigger, a lot of us do. And that's probably why we go to war so much. That's probably why we have feuds and challenge people to boxing matches. And here's what's stupid. I challenged a guy to a boxing match, right? And then someone sends me a terrible email, just an email that was, they're like, oh, you should totally use this email to expose this guy because you challenged him to a boxing match, so of course you'd want to ruin his life. And I was looking at this email and I felt so sad for him, like legit sad, because I was reading through it and I don't want to share the details with you guys. I barely know the details. I only read a little bit, but it was horrible. I related with him, this guy I wanted to box. I felt bad for him. And so instead of making a video where I would be attacking him and exposing him and doing all these terrible things that people do all the time and feel good about themselves doing, I chose to just forward him the emails. Initially, I just, screenshotted and sent it to him, but then eventually just forwarded him everything. And this person wound up thanking me and being so grateful for me sharing this information because apparently it had some content in it that was heart-wrenchingly horrible in it, that if it was leaked to the public via me or someone else, it would have been traumatic. And that's an example of how these tribes that we set up and these feuds and these prejudices and these opinions that we blindly have of each other or these jumping to conclusions tendencies that we have, it's all so stupid.
Okay, just so we're clear, so you guys know what he's referencing. He's talking about the emails that were sent to him that had photos of Mr. Repzion's grandfather, who apparently passed away, and somebody took a picture and that was sent to Mr. Repzion's ex-friends. And apparently this is one of those things that, out of the good grace of Onision, he decided not to do. Which, you know what? I will admit that there is one good thing that Onision did. One. And that was not be the asshole and freaking share that information, as well as the picture of Repzion's grandfather. Though, just so everybody's clear, that doesn't forgive him for some of the other things that he's done in the past. A lot of bad outweighs the good, unfortunately.
Because one day, you're the enemy of someone, and the next day they do something nice, and suddenly, you're not so bad. You're maybe not great, but you're not so bad. And things aren't quite as hostile. And suddenly you're willing to listen to them. And suddenly you're willing to see their perspective and understand their humanity. Just like that. Like it's nothing. What we got next? Right, it says no matter what you do, you are wrong to some people, and you are right to some people. People believe what they want to. That's that. So what is the point in me or anyone else even making a video in the first place if people have already made up their minds and they're not capable of receiving new information? I don't want to be a part of that. Anyway, so here's a sketch about growing the up.
Hi guys. I feel the need to address the bus company accusations.
You're a lawyer! Innocent people don't have to defend themselves! Boss man!
Hey guys, I guess I don't have to address the accusations about the bus company because that would imply that they're even remotely true.
Ha!
And
He's not defending himself! He must be guilty!
I'm sorry, but this goes back to the whole believing thing. At this point, it's not just whether or not we believe you. At this point, it's what evidence has already been out there to show us what kind of individual you are. And that's why a lot of people, including myself, usually suggest to people who have never heard of you, or let's say your fans, that they do the research, because some of them who are probably new don't know your full backstory. And unfortunately, right now, you have Sarah, Sky, and Shiloh, who are giving their thoughts about you right now on Twitter. And let me tell you, a lot of the things they express, especially with the videos that you've deleted over the time, yeah, makes you look really, really fucking bad.
And also, this is actually a point that I don't really want to make, but I'm just gonna make it real quick. Let's say everyone is terrified of witchcraft, okay? Let's go back to the Salem Trials. If YouTube was a thing back then, you would have people accusing other people of being a witch, and then you would have people making videos saying, I'm not a witch. I'm not a witch. Or back during the Red Scare, do you guys remember that? You're not 90? Okay, so the Red Scare was this thing where people were horrified by the idea that someone out there could potentially be a Russian spy, or a Russian sympathizer, or a communist sympathizer, or whatever. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I have a general idea. That's why I'm a YouTuber and not a professor. No, but like people would say, oh, you're a communist. You're this person who believes that everyone should share the wealth, essentially. Like that's the general idea of communism based on what I've been taught, which is very little. And personally, you know, none of your business what my political views are at this point. Because that is just another thing to get in the way of you and me getting along. So politics. But there would be this thing where if you said someone was a communist and people trusted you, people liked you, then whoever you said was a communist, Itchy, would automatically be guilty of being a communist, okay? And most of these people were probably not communists. Nobody really cares if you're a communist or not these days. But back then, it was this huge phobia, and you see it everywhere. And people are still terrified of Americans working with Russians, and maybe they should be, I don't know. But my point is that if these individuals made YouTube videos saying, I am not a communist, and the person who accused me of being a communist, or the person who accused me of being a witch, or the person who accused me of, God, I don't know, supporting Trump? No, but the people who saw that video, like there's no convincing most people who are friends with or who already support the person saying you're a communist or you're a witch, that you're not.
I'm sorry, but with that whole analogy, it just makes it sound like you're saying that people can't think rationally. They can't come to conclusions on their own. And if they just hear one thing, then automatically then they think it's true. But, and I keep bringing this point up, you have 11 years on your belt of bad behavior, very destructive behavior towards individuals. So you can't blame people for already having that thought process of what kind of person you are, as well as what you're capable of when you've done it in the past when it comes to things or interactions with people. So don't come crying to us when you feel like, oh, I'm being misrepresented, even though there's evidence to the contrary of what you're like. Does that make any sense?
It's over. That's it. The people who like that person are probably not going to like you, and vice versa. So my question is, as a content creator, what is the point in me making videos demonizing people? I mean, if you think about it, this is high school this is that middle schoolers or high schoolers or even people in college would have to deal with. This is not something that Antique, as old as I am, should be going after people for. I'm not a newscaster. I'm not a tabloid. God, I don't want to be a tabloid. All I want to do is create cool content and have an awesome Patreon. Like, I want to play video games with people who like me for the content I create. That's crazy ambition. I don't want to make gaming videos because those aren't my favorite videos to make. My favorite videos to make are these kinds of videos where I'm talking to you guys directly without burning bridges like I've done for so long and just making up crazy funny. That's what I want to do. And lastly, regarding, I guess, what's on a lot of people's minds is like, let's say, you know, a YouTuber that I used to talk about is talking about me. Or let's say that someone I met at Walmart who didn't like how I shake their hand is making a video about me not being a good handshaker. And you might think, oh, that's a stupid analogy. No, that may or may not have actually happened in real life. Let's say that people are actually doing these things, right? And you might look to me to say, okay, dear guy whose hand I didn't shake right at Walmart, I disagree with you, and I think that you are not being honest when you say I'm bad at handshaking, because I'll squeeze the shit out of anyone's hand any day. What I just did there was I implied he's a liar. I implied that he doesn't know how to efficiently shake someone's hand. I implied that I myself am somewhat remorseful or irritated by having met him. There are all these implications and the most seemingly abstract of words. Did I use that word right? Big words are hard for dumb James. Abstract, it's 2 syllables. What I'm saying is, if I defended myself from someone talking about how it was for me not hugging them when I met them, which I'm sure is a complaint to me not hugging people. If I make a video addressing people who simply did not like bumping into me on the street, they would say I'm rude or that I'm not grateful or something or whatever. If I address all these things, then I'm just basically saying, first of all, your opinions suck. I'm also saying that my ego is very important to me. I have a lot of pride, and pride is a huge sin. I would, of course, inevitably be calling the people who are saying things about me that they're wrong or liars or dramatic or toxic or something like that. I would be partaking in the high school game of he said, she said, or he said, she said, or he/they said, they/she said. You know, gotta be inclusive. And I know I'm not alone when I say I don't want to be that person. I don't want to sit here and address every single thing that people ever say about bumping into me somewhere or whatever their opinion of me is. Because there are some very essential things in life that matter. One is water, one is food, the other is oxygen and shelter, but those are the obvious ones. No, there's family, there's friends, there's love, there's happiness. And I'll tell you what, making this video makes me happy. I like making this video because it is so productive, it is so healthy, and it is so forward thinking. It actually gives a shit about my future, unlike my previous videos, which just seemed to want to humiliate me without me even knowing I was humiliating myself constantly.
I would never knowingly lie. What I did was 100% lawful. So when someone in the future tells you that I did something illegal, when they tell you I did something that was immoral, I really want you to ask yourself who exactly they are talking about. Because if you know me, you know for a fact that I am honest, because I have expressed nothing but honesty on this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for investigating the truth for yourself. Have a wonderful day.
Let me tell you why I'm mad today.
I don't want to be that person. That is the worst to be. So if people want to think I'm awful or amazing or something in between, it's none of my business. All I want to do is make great content. And while it might not be so great today, it might be someday with an attitude like the one I'm trying to fuse into my personality. And it's a struggle. It's like a New Year's resolution. So it takes a lot of work and dedication. But anyway, to everyone who supports me, like, you know, you watch my videos, or if you can afford it, you're on my Patreon. Boop squeeze.
So final thoughts with this response is, one, don't expect people to think that you're changing yourself at all. I mean, at the very least, immediately. Considering that you've claimed that you were going to change, you claim that you're going to be better, that you have this epiphany, and then not even a week, you go back to the same behavior, the same antics over and over again. So, don't get offended that people aren't taking you seriously. And when it comes to criticism, you're still gonna get it regardless of what you do. Especially with a lot of the stuff that you've said and done in the past. And ultimately, you can't blame people for bringing it up or giving their thoughts about it. The only person you can blame is yourself. So, all in all, this was a very lengthy video. And I hate when, you know, I have to respond to lengthy videos like this. But I figured I'd go ahead and do it anyways. So, thank you guys for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you have anything you would like to add, leave in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys want to watch me play video games, at the end of the video, click on the button for the game that I've been playing. Or if you want to listen to me talk about the TV show I've been watching, then click on that button too. With that being said, this is Rob of Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace.